Hi everyone, welcome to Usapa Wala Lang. Loosely, it means aimless conversation. Here, we'll be talking about ordinary stuff from the perspective of boomers like us. And who is us? We're the Tres Locas. I'm Lisa and I'm coming from the great state of Texas.
I'm Lou, and I'm streaming from the sunshine state of Florida.
And I'm Tita, all the way halfway around the world from the Philippines, where it's always more fun.
Today, we'll be talking about chinelas, also known as slippers. Wala lang, again, aimless conversation, right? So here we'll be talking about the different types of slippers, a short history, and other, etc., etc., etc. So let's begin. Lou, take it away.
All right. Chinelas is the Filipino flip-flops, FFF. It's from the Spanish word chinelas, which means slippers. So how did this humble footwear, chinelas, became an icon? So for Filipinos who are born from 1970s to the 1990s, it's not only a footwear, it's also used to play games and for disciplinary measures. So those who were naughty before, you will remember this. In Latin America, it's called chancletas, chancletas. Chancletas is made of heavy rubber. So it's very good to throw this across a kid who's misbehaving. Ouch! Versus the chinelas, which is of a lighter rubber. So you really need a closer distance so your mom can whack you in your butt. But even 100 years ago, before the Spanish invasion, there were already about thousands of Japanese in Manila. With them, they brought what you call the footwear called sorry. It's made of rice straw, but it's only used during the summer. When they came over here, they used local materials like hemp or abaca. But what happens during the rainy season? Again, the Japanese has what you call the wooden sleepers called geta, Geta. So this is used during the rainy season and most likely may be the prototype of the bakya. Our footwear determines the social strata. So a bakya is the cheapest one, so usually used and bought by the poor. Chinelas is for the middle class, and zapatos or the shoes is for the insulares or the mestizos. They are the ones, the wealthy ones. This chinelas, this rubber version, in walking, it created the sound of flip-flopping. And that's the reason why it was later called flip-flops. And Lisa will discuss further the uses of the chinelas. Take it away, Lisa.
Flip-flops, as called here in the United States, is very popular. So we have a lot of uses. In the house alone, we have different slippers. This is what we normally use outside, which is called sinelas panglabas. This is what you wear when you go out. And as soon as you get in, of course, you have to switch. I just brought this up because I remember my uncles. This is what they use inside the house. This is the chinelas pangbahay. Bahay is house. So this from the outside slippers, you have to switch to the inside slippers. And if you have to go to the bathroom to do whatever you need to do, guess what? Any guesses?
You have to
Another
you have
chinela.
to shift to another pair of slippers for the bathroom.
Exactly. A rubberized slippers, preferably, so that you can get it wet.
Mhm.
Because you cannot wear shoes in the house or in the bathroom because it's going to create mud. It's going to dirty up the floor. Plus, you're not supposed to wear shoes anyway. The shoes stays outside the door. And if you have a bling on the slippers, it's called now step in, which is an outside dressy shoes. So you can use it for, dress up. activity. So the other uses of the chinelas, as children, we like to play, and most of the games that we play involves chinelas. Now I can explain to you, but I think it's a lot easier to explain if I show you how it's done. Now this is Tumbang Preso. This is a popular game in the Philippines. The goal is to tumble this little can, and this is the girl that's called an it. She is just watching that. She's not protecting it. But all these kids who are participants, will look at them. They're all ready to throw their slippers away in order to tumble this.
If I were the
So,
it, I'd be scared. The slippers can go
well,
my way.
exactly. Look at that. Ouch. So she
Aray.
realized, oh, that's a good move. See, now she learned her lesson.
Yeah. I think that little
Because
girl on the leftmost, the one in blue, I think she's the boss.
she's the moderator. As long as that can is upright, they can cross the line and pick up their slippers so they can
Oh, she
hit it
did it.
again. And once hit, they can run and pick up their slippers. But once the it turns up the can, they can tag them, and then they'll be the one it and be hit by the
So
slippers.
it's always fun in the Philippines.
Yeah. Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Back to chinelas. The other uses is we use chinelas to kill insects. You know,
Kill bugs.
cockroaches.
Exactly. Oh, gross. That is so gross.
Yes. Well, especially the cockroach. Have you seen a cockroach in the Philippines? They're huge. Now I can approach them and kill them with the chinelas. But once they
Million.
start flying, I start screaming the other way. And also,
And
what else?
once they start flying, the chinelas goes with
Discipline.
them. Chinelas starts
Discipline.
flying as well.
The other use is if you have a table that's unstable, you can insert it under the leg to keep it even and stable.
Yeah.
But the most unhappy, well, it's not really an unhappy memory, but the not so good memory of the chinelas is when I get spanked with the chinelas. Right? And you had that experience, or am I the only one who got spanked?
Aray.
I think growing up in the Philippines during our time, all of us would have had a taste of chinelas on our butts, no? And yeah, it's a mode of discipline. It is the go-to discipline of our whoever is the disciplinarian between our two parents. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, ours is a little bit more creative because sometimes we're asked to stand in front of the wall, stretch our arm up
Yeah.
with the chinelas on it. Normally,
Ooh.
the chinelas is light.
There's actually a psychological explanation for why slippers
Better than hands.
are better than
Yes.
hands. Yes.
Yes.
Because
To
it
hit.
creates some kind of a boundary between the physical palm of the parent and the butt of the child, so that when like how it is when parents discipline their children, they would, or when children stumble or hurt themselves, the parent would always say, bad floor, or bad chair, bad table. Whenever you hit the table, hit the chair, you know the chair is the one at fault, the table is the one at fault, or something else. And so when you discipline, when you spank using the chinelas, it's not the
It's,
mother, it's the
it's a
chinelas.
chinela's fault.
So it creates some kind of a distance, a psychological distance. And so the relationship, the mother-child relationship, is preserved in a way. So it's the chinelas fault.
Yes. The chinelas did it.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's my love-hate relationship with the chinelas. Lou is pretty quiet. I wonder if she was spanked when she was little.
A lot.
She's actually crying. She's actually crying already at the memory.
A lot.
She's speechless.
So in the Philippines, really, the chinelas is a quintessential item in the household. Uh, it's never absent. During the COVID, I remember we weren't really locked up, so to speak. Um, we would visit, we would visit each other's homes among friends, but something different was happening. When we would reach the house of a friend, we would always remove our shoes coming from the outside, and then we would have a connecting flight, a connecting slippers for inside the house, which our friend would always supply us with, no? Or you can bring your own slippers, no? And then put on your slippers to enter the house. There you
Just
go.
like this one.
Yeah, I
You know,
remember that.
if I may interject, this is a gift from one of our reunions by Carol,
Yes.
and she gifted us with this one. So
Yeah.
you don't don't worry when Filipinos stay over. If you invite a Filipino over and you find that they bring their own slippers, that's just because we have to wear slippers every time. You
They're
want to
always
make
prepared.
sure.
Yeah. They know that they're going to sleep over. They know that they're going to be invited to sleep over, so they bring already their own slippers. That's the thing.
It's part of their bag in case
Okay.
somebody invites them to stay
Yeah.
overnight.
I don't know who
Okay, sorry.
mentioned
Go on.
earlier. Somebody mentioned earlier, either Lou or you mentioned about the social status of the
Lou.
footwear. Lou,
Social
all right.
strata.
Yeah, I would like to connect that with the old houses, the old antique houses that we had before. There, they would have huge, massive front doors. Um, there would be a very steep staircase leading to the front door, and the front door, the main entrance door, would always have a some kind of like 2 or 3 inches above the floor. There would be a gap, and that would be um, that's a very useful gap. Uh, the maid who would answer the door would usually try to take a peek at the footwear of the guest. So if the guest
Hmm.
is wearing, yeah, if the guest is wearing
Dirty.
sapatos, chinelas, or bakya,
Uh,
they
Or
would
bakya.
know, yeah, they would know the social status or the social status of that person. And then they would also get to see whether the chinelas is dusty or muddy and stuff like those. So they would be ready to either turn the guest away or ask the guest to leave the footwear outside the door. So that. Now, a short anecdote about slippers. One time, I was wearing these slippers for the longest time. Maybe it's been with me for maybe 5, 6 years. It was really a very sturdy type of slippers, and change, should I buy and use it, should I replace these slippers? I was getting bored with it, in other words. So I did a short poll. I polled my other 3 friends on, when do you replace your slippers? And then one friend said, answered it funny. She said, well, in my case, I wear my slippers until I get to feel the pebbles under my feet. In other words, until the slippers is really, really worn out. You know how
Pwedeng
rubber
tasa.
slippers, yeah, you know how rubber slippers get worn out and they get very thin
Mhm.
over time. So there. So that was her answer. Unless I feel the pebbles, then I won't replace the slipper. My other friend, who's more moneyed, said, well, if I feel like changing my slippers, then I just buy a new one, especially if
Hmm.
there's something out there that I like. Okay, fine. That's not my type. And then the third friend said, well, in my case, I tend to keep buying slippers, and the reason for that is because in my house there are so many entrance doors, exit doors to the outside. So they're in their household, it's slippers off. So before you enter the house, remove your slippers and you're okay now. So wherever she leaves her slippers, she forgets which door she left her slippers. Then she
That
goes,
happened to me.
it's missing. My slippers are missing. I'll buy a new one. Then she buys a new one. And then she forgets it in another doorway. And then she goes, my new slippers. I have new slippers. Now I have to replace it again. Okay, so in short, what I got were different stories, and they never really helped in my decision making. And to think that was just all about slippers, my guiding principle is always need versus want. Do I need it? Do I
Mm.
really need to replace it? Is it dilapidated? Is it not wearable anymore? Or do I just want to have a new one? Okay, so guess what I did? I replaced it anyway. I gave in. I caved. In other, all right. Having said that, what have we learned today? Slippers, chinelas, ang chinelas, bow. Ang chinelas is really a quintessential part of the Filipino household. Whether you use it on your foot or you use it for odd things like balancing an imbalanced table, swatting bugs, or for games, or even for determining whether, well, in the older times at least, no, for determining whether the visitor is of a particular social class. So slippers, chinelas, they've been with us forever and ever, and they'll always be part of our daily lives. Thanks for eavesdropping. But before we go, I'd like for you to hit the like button and slap that subscribe. All right. If you do have comments, feel free to give us some comments too. No, qualified, qualified. Only the nice
Because we
comments
only
will be read. Okay. That said, here's where we end the episode. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.